Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and it is the end of 2022. So what better way to cap off this year than to show off my 22 favorite models that got painted this year. I throw that caveat that they got painted this year, but actually I think that all of them actually were released in 2022, so it works out okay. And you will never know the pain and anguish that I went through filming this and having to go back and look at all those damn videos. There's a lot. I filmed a lot. Oh my god, what's wrong with me sometimes? No, I legit enjoy this stuff. It's gotten crazy to the point where it's like just the sheer volume of different things I paint. And none of it's organized in any of the boxes and trays that I've got in the room here with me. That is going to be one of my resolutions for 2023, besides actually using them in a game again. I swear to God, I don't think I've played a legit game since the pandemic. I can't think of any. Even, like, table, I don't know. My mind's going blank. But yeah, there is no particular order here, and if you really want to find these models, I'm going to let you guys do the legwork this time. I put the damn links every single week for the last, I don't know how many years. Find the stuff. I will tell you the names of who to look for and where to go. So without further ado, we'll start off with this guy. Good old Slime. And he comes to us from Artist Studio. You can't get any more simple, basic, goofy, and fun than this. But really, you know what? Artist Studio has been about the only real competitor when it comes to really making models with that anime aesthetic. I like it. I dig it. And I'm going to keep showing it on this stinking channel, whether you guys like it or not. But, I mean, you know, our slime friend has plenty of famous and noteworthy companions. None more so than one of my favorite models, right here. Never was really into Kingdom Hearts, but man, did I dig the design of Cloud in those games. He looks cool. Speaking of cool, I almost couldn't forget about the Neo Kingdom stuff that Artist Studio did. This is the only guy that I have handy. I painted a ton of them at this point, and I've got a few more that are in the process of being finished, despite having a cool battle scar across his face that shouldn't exist there because it was a print mishap. And I don't know, I should like scab it over or something. They've got that look that, again, not a lot of models or companies do. Very few companies do, I should add. One of the very few that I can think of is Erkman's Minis, and his Nago Ryuki here from Guilty Gear really just inspired me. I think I printed it and painted it within almost the span of a day. I could not stop painting this figure. Absolutely enjoyed it. Almost as much as his redo of Viken. Both of my favorite Guilty Gear characters. I mean, I know, I'm a big old video game nerd. Not as much as I used to be, but still pretty intense. Absolutely love this figure. Only thing I would like to see is to see the details sharpened up, and that is my hope moving forward for Erkman's stuff. Is I want to see those details sharper, dude. Make them sharp, because you got some good stuff going on. And I guess continuing with the video game theme here, Artisan Guild's latest Warforged stuff. I really like Artisan Guild stuff. Andrea makes some really cool sculpts. I was digging out other models. I'm like, oh, I'm going to use these. And then I realized, no, I painted those like in 2020 or 2021. I don't even know when I painted them. Their Thieves Guild was quite an impressionable set. Their Oni set, I think I finally started painting them around 2021. I don't even remember. But that gets me to actually the very first set of models from 2022 that I painted up, and those were Raging Heroes Samurai set. I think I painted almost the entire set. I've got a few models left over, but I painted the bulk of it, and you can go back and see if you don't believe me, but absolutely gorgeous models. Really liked what they did with this set. I was trying to double check if he had any kind of patterning on his yukata there, but I think that's the other dude, the Oni guy. Let me grab him for you. Since he is within grabbing distance, he's almost as cool. I think he might actually be cooler in some ways. That lower part of his clothes, just, I think the colors, while the red looks kind of lame, I think with a better paint job and a better painter painting it, absolutely awesome looking figure. And the fact that it was one single piece, I feel like it was. Quite the dynamic model. Quite big too. I mean, even the RNS Studio stuff's pretty big. Speaking of big, I'm like trying to keep track of what have I already filmed here. Speaking of big, one of my favorite Cobra Mode models, and going with our samurai theme, of which we did quite a bit. This is the Daitengu Zenkibo, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure that was his name, and I just noticed I didn't get that spot there. Huh. But I loved Cobra Mode stuff when they were doing their more Japanese theme. They've done some interesting stuff, but I only have so much time, so much paint, and so much resin. But I promise you we'll see more of their stuff in the very near future, too. Big fun model. I don't know what colors I used for his plated stuff there, but I like how it came out. Another big model that kind of goes along with this guy is Bite the Bullets Dragoniborn, I believe it was called. I want to say he was released when they did their whole Dragonborn set, of which I painted a bunch. Still unsure if I made the best choices color-wise. Could I repaint it? Probably. Would I do a better job? Absolutely. Did he come out in 2022? You know what? I'm not even sure now. I think he did. Pretty sure he did. I thought I saw him in there. Uh-oh. I hope so. Well, he'll just be a bonus then. Continuing with our samurai theme, and I know you're okay, my friend. This model from Titan Forge, I don't know, I really liked it. Big bulky armor, fancy flashy back banners, cannon club thing. He's got the beads, he's got the swords, the tassels, the big wooden he's got a fancy helmet. I mean, it reminds me of like the Crab clan from Legend of the Five Rings. And I always like good, interesting samurai models that don't look like boring generic guys. I think that's the major downfall of a lot of the sculpts. I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be historical, but I want some fantasy infused in it, you know? And I think that's why, for me, even though he's not very samurai looking, you know, the guys from Raging Heroes were so successful, in my opinion, and in my enjoyment of them. Let's see. Do we want to continue with the samurai theme? Okay, I'm pretty sure. I don't think he came out in 2022, but I'm pretty sure I painted him in 2022. Like, I think I did. And that is the Oni Masked Ronin champion from Kyoshineko. And I guess if I didn't paint him in 2022, somewhere in front of me, I think, as I'm like scanning the table everywhere, pretty sure I painted the opposite remixed community done version of him this year as well. So we'll take one or the other, but they both look really cool. But I got to give the edge to the Oni mask on that guy. I don't know if you guys are keeping track counting. I'm not. I said 22, but I just got a big pile. The Black Swordsman from Hardcore Miniatures. And Hardcore Miniatures, thankfully, they're safe. They're okay. They are out of Russia. They are setting up shop again. They are open for business. And if you guys like this model, which you should because it's really cool, and it was a super crisp, clean casting job. It is resin. It is not an STL file. I strongly recommend checking their stuff out. They have tons and tons of options usually included in their kits. A lot of good value there. And who can go wrong with Guts as this, you know, Space Marine? It's awesome. Speaking of Space Marines, Atlan Forge's Void Lord Tangaroa. Now, even though he has some misprints on him, I mean, I love that cape. It just looks neat with all that patterning on it, especially from a distance, and you can't see all the little sloppy errors and mistakes I made on it. There's just so much detail and fun stuff going on with him. He's a big model. I love the claws, love the chainsaws. Obviously, we know who he's inspired by. Or at least you should. Could I definitely do some improvements there? You betcha. Will I? Probably not. But it's a cool model nonetheless. Really like it. That's one of the few Space Marine adjacent models that I keep handy in my cabinet here nearby. Do I actually have any Space Marines? I don't. I do have some GW stuff sitting around here. But we'll do one last Space Marine adjacent one, and that is the Titan Killers that came out from the Maker's Cult. These are 3D printed files, but they looked incredibly cool. They are part of their Tempest Legion, if I remember correctly, although that is a Black Knight head on top of it. Totally modular. I mean, Maker's Cult stuff is like modeler's models. You're going to have to build these guys, so just be aware ahead of time what you're getting yourself into, okay? But yeah, I really like these. Painted up a bunch of them. This probably is my favorite one, though. Oops, as I bang things around here and almost knocked the camera off the table. Cool. Okay, I did say there was some GW stuff, which there actually is. One of my favorites was actually these guys, the Ash Waste Nomads. I really like these sculpts. There's just so much going on. I didn't grab any particular one. I mean, they're like a cross between like a hobo and a Jawa and a Cawdor guy. They've got a unique look. And it's funny because, you know, as soon as everybody within the 3D community wants to go off and, you know, design their own take on it, nobody's has hit really as solid as the GW ones for me. So, I can promise you 2023 there will be more Necromunda stuff. I absolutely am getting some of the new releases coming out. I just gotta wait for them to actually release. So, I'm looking forward to that. Some of those new Forge World models. I hate to pay those Forge World prices, but I can't resist, guys. I'm sorry. I have to get them. And another GW model. I don't even remember the dude's name. Big Bad Stormcast model. I'm like, shoot, what is he called? I don't even know, but he just looks really cool with that shiny gold armor. There's just a lot to take in here. He's got a cool scenic base. He's like the Stormlord Primarch, for lack of a better term. Really fun model. I like him. I don't have a lot of Stormcasts, but I do have him and like most of the fancier ones. On foot, I should say. Speaking of on foot, let's see what else we got laying around. Funny enough, it's not all 3D printed stuff, which I thought it might be, but it actually isn't. I haven't done this one yet. The Hold Ray in plastic from Parabellum Games as part of their Conquest line. Looking at this on camera, I still got to redo that. I don't like how it turned out. The skin looks a little bit better. This is the plastic incarnation, if I didn't already say that. It looks cool, very dynamic, very big, especially, you know, in comparison to the original. I think I did a better paint job on the original. I think I need to go back and fix him up, but these are huge models, just so you are aware. Here is a historically scaled human, and you can see how big those dwarves are in comparison. Really like that one, but I gotta say, the hero models from the Old Dominion are very close in competition with the Hold Ray, and I probably did a better job painting both of them as well. You can actually see a bit of like attempts at highlighting and things on both of them. I only know this is the Archimandrite, and I can't remember his name, and I don't think I ever posted the, what's it called, the Hyrio Deacon. And he's sitting right here. We should probably talk about him in another video. I should probably finish him. That'd be a better idea. Alright, something else that isn't 3D printed, that is the Chieftus from the Elves of Inith from Durgan Paint Forge. I really liked what they were trying to do with these elves. They were very different. Kind of wood elves, kind of not. Kind of, you know, Asian inspired, especially with the face masks. The elaborate armor on some of the models. They were very different, but I liked the Chieftus the most. Chieftus, it was a female, but model. Something about the pose, the way she's sitting, just it's different. She's nowhere near as big as some of the other models. Whoa. Well, at least we can get a bigger view of her. Another one that I really like, probably my favorite Malifaux figure that got released this year, Parker Barrows. Very simple model, yet effective, and works great for stuff like Shadows of Brimstone, Malifaux itself, Dead Man's Hand. You know, it may not be as dynamic as his original sculpt, but it's still pretty cool. I think that's the only Malifaux model that I've really painted this year that I can think of. I know I painted a few like the Nightmare stuff, but I still think he's my favorite. Alright, I had to pick one Bestiarum model, and I feel like this guy from the Pennington Crusade, I think he was from the Pennington Crusade, in his totally not Artorias of the Abyss pose, that I had to paint him up in similar colors. Was one of my favorites. But then again, Bestiarum stuff is just continuing to be top-notch, just different. And for me, I really like different. I like when people do different things. You know, their models don't look like everybody else's. And that's kind of one of my gripes I've seen too many times with the 3D printed stuff, is it gets kind of samey. You know, I like when people do different things with their ideas. Like some of these crazy vampires, like from Raging Heroes. I thought this was a really cool looking model. Got him painted right away. Here's another random one. This is Izanagi from March and Atelier and their Magical Girl Assault line. She's got blades on her feet, like Bayonetta style, but instead of guns, obviously, with blades. But the whole Magical Girl Assault line itself is just a lot of fun. My kind of models. I think we're nearing the end here. Couldn't forget our Hunter from Hexbanes Hunter. This is like the perfect Witch Hunter Inquisitor type model from GW that I have seen, well, since Cursed City. And I really want to get that guy from Cursed City, but everybody wants an arm and a leg for the, you know, Witch Hunter dude with the cool hat. One of these days, mark my words, you'll see him painted on this channel. If I'm not busy sucking up all my money to Forge World orders. Alright, and what could have been an entire list of nothing but Kingdom Death models, I had to go and narrow it down to my two favorite ones that I got painted this year. Technically, she came out last year, but I didn't paint her until this year, and this is the Black Friday Naked Questing Maid. It was naked because there were nothing except the plastic sprue. I think she came out okay. It's super zoomed in, so you can see all the horrible sloppiness. I'm not one of those amazing Twitch painters, but I do paint everything. And probably my favorite Kingdom Death model that got released this year is Lantern Armor Aya. Again, I may not have the best paint job, and I need to do some cleanup there. I thought I actually did, but I really liked this model. Something about the style of the armor, the weapons, the way everything flows. The model just had a cool look to me. Yeah, she's got gigantic hips, but, you know, I'm okay with that. I've made my peace with that. You know, Sir Mix-a-Lot spoke the truth way back in the day, didn't he? But anyways, I feel like, considering the sheer amount of stuff that I got painted this year, I'm quite pleased with myself, and I'm hoping that you all out there got stuff painted as well, and you should have, because, you know, why not? But hopefully everybody is going to have a great 2023. I am going to be lazy over the next couple of days, and maybe I'll post a few things here and there. But we will have our first official weekly painting progress of 2023 probably a week into the next year. I'm going to take a couple days, enjoy time with the family, enjoy all of the goodies I got over the holidays that I haven't even started filming yet. And they're piling up here by me, let me tell you. But honestly, again, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has continued to support the channel. It amazes me that I started this just because nobody was ever talking about or showing any of the stuff that was coming out way back in 2018. And here we are in 2023. That is absolutely nuts. So thanks again to everybody who supports by subscribing. Thanks to everybody who supports on Patreon. Thanks to everybody who supports me with all the comments, emails, questions, models, suggestions, what have you. And I appreciate it, and I look forward to enjoying this hobby with everybody for this coming year. And with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon in 2023. Bye-bye.